Hi, I'm Marsh. Welcome to Signals from the OP, my bi-weekly video blog where I dig into issues related to manufacturing, marketing, and industrial sales and seek to provide an early warning or some insights into topics that I believe should be of, importance to executives of industrial manufacturing firms. If you find some value in this, please like it, maybe subscribe to the channel or the playlist, and share this with others who you think would also find value. Today, let's talk about whether intent data fits into industrial sales, and if so, how to implement it and what to expect. In order to tackle that, first let's level set. What is buyer intent data? Well, buyer intent data is a category of information that's intended to help you understand who might be in market for what you sell. In contemporary uses, it's mostly digital. That being said, you've used intent data for years. For instance, if someone visits your trade show booth and then returns to the booth later in the day with some colleagues, that's important intent data. Obviously, that's a set of signals that's meaningful in which you add to your qualification analysis in addition to the details of your specific conversation. Now, since that engagement happened with you directly, we call it first-party intent data. And you have lots of other first-party data. What people visit your website, how often they come back, what pages they visit, even what pages in what order. I mean, how many people from the same company visit your site in any rolling period of time? What job titles do those people have? Who engages with your social media? Who opens and or clicks marketing emails or sales emails? Who spends what time on what pages of your proposals? All of those are examples of first-party intent data, which can be really meaningful to your sales team in terms of prospecting, open opportunities, etc. It's generally collected by your CRM and marketing automation systems, and salespeople must be coached on how to interpret and use the data. You probably have some second-party intent data too. If you do any trade journal advertising and get leads sent to you with info on what actions the journal's registered users have taken, that's second-party data. It's like your first party, but it's on someone else's digital property. Now, third-party intent is what most people actually mean when they say buyer intent data. This is what's happening everywhere else on the web. For instance, with competitors, thought leaders and influencers in your space, etc. There's various models for collecting and reporting third-party intent data. While there's some technical detail in inside baseball, it's important to at least understand at a high level the differences. One model is a publishing co-op. A group of publishers get together and agree to share information with each other on what their registered users and visitors are doing and reading on their sites. This means that data from this model is limited to those sites. It's at the account level only, since it's anonymous, and it often relies on IP address resolution, which is imprecise. Typically, the data is categorized, and one limitation is that there's normally no insight into what details they've jammed into the taxonomy for a category. So you might think that it's relevant or irrelevant, but there's no way for you to gauge that or even to know what the detail is. Another model is bitstream data. This is a byproduct of engagements that people have with online ads. Essentially, it's a series of guesses that if someone from a company is shown an ad, and we think we can guess the type of content that was next to that ad, then we can assume that they're interested in the topic of that content. Now, there's some problems here. First, obviously the cascading assumptions. It's an absurd extrapolation. You probably aren't even aware of most of the ads that you see, and they're probably not relevant to what you read. Also, this data is very high volume and tends to be low accuracy. And there's real issues with privacy, since data that you've never agreed to have sold is now being sold. The Wall Street Journal recently had an article on government surveillance, and the Senate Committee on Finance had targeted bitstream data before COVID disrupted their oversight. Another model, the one used by our affiliate intentdata.io, is different. It crawls the entire public web, including all structured and unstructured data, and identifies content that matches your specific criteria, like competitor, key term, etc. Then, when we see people engage with that content publicly, we capture those signals. We resolve who the person is from their public profile and report on their activity and the details. This is unique. It's contact level intent data, and it's accompanied by enough detail to interpret what it means. For instance, the stage in the buying journey and the problem that somebody's trying to solve. Now, regardless of who the vendor is, intent data is not a silver bullet. There's a lot of inaccurate, misleading data sold and outrageous claims that are made. For instance, intent data can't tell you who's searching for something online. And even when data is accurate, it's easily misinterpreted. I may be reading about something or sharing something that I have no intent of purchasing. Nevertheless, it is valuable info for the right companies with the right marketing and sales infrastructure. What does that mean? Well, these are my insights after 5 years of intensive work with intent data. First, understand it's not a sales lead list. If you use buyer intent data as a list to just call, you'll waste money, you'll creep out prospects, and you'll salary your sales team on the leads marketing sends them. That's true regardless of whose data you use. So if you're a typical industrial manufacturer, let's say $200 million in revenue with one person marketing team and 15 sales reps, there's only one reasonable way to use it in my experience. That's to watch for activity in target accounts, existing customer accounts, and accounts where you have pending deals. And you need to set a high threshold for what constitutes activity, remembering that many providers send anonymous and inaccurate signals, and even accurate signals aren't necessarily indicative of readiness to purchase. Then, you need to understand your third-party intent data as an additional source of info. It augments your first-party data and other information, and it's a signal that your sales team should consider in their analysis of the account and what's happening. That's going to take sales enablement and sales management effort. It's going to take the required sales and marketing data stack, and it's going to take sophistication among the sales team. So don't get oversold on buyer intent data. It's not a simple lead list. And beware of long contracts that lock you in and some of the other bazaars and kind of marketplace pricing that seems to exist in the market. If you're trying to decide, I'd suggest skipping. If you think you have an organization that could benefit, I'm happy to share my insights into data models and industrial sales to provide some helpful perspective. I'm Ed Marsh, and this is Signals from the OP. I hope you found this episode helpful. If so, please hit the bell, subscribe, share it, like the episode, and maybe even share this content with others who you think might find it valuable.